places to go. Made up my mind and now I got to let you know. Heaven help the heart that lets me inside. Heaven help the one who comes in my life. Heaven help the fool that walks through my door. 'Cause I decided right now I'm ready for love. Ready for love. Funny feelings coming over me. Now I'm inspired and I'm hoping to be in a love place, but it's out of my hands. I'm telling you, baby, that you got to understand. Heaven help the heart that lets me inside. Heaven help the one who comes in my life. Heaven help the fool that walks through my door. 'Cause I decided right now I'm ready for love. I'm ready for love. And I can't see what's out there for me. And I know that love's no guarantee. Yeah. I took a chance and I'm telling you something, babe. Got to let you know. Heaven help the heart lets me inside. Heaven help the one who comes in my life. Heaven help the fool who walks through my door. 'Cause I decided right now I'm ready for love. I'm ready for love. Take a chance on love. I'm ready for love. Take a chance on love. I'm ready for love, baby.
iTunes Radio reminds you, Strange Brews, the show of your choice.
Hello and welcome to the Strange Brew podcast. My name's Jason Barnard and that's Terry Britten and Heaven Help. You may remember or recall that song from a version by Lenny Kravitz, but we've got one of the great songwriters of his generation who co-wrote that wonderful song. I've got Terry Britten here today, who's not only written for and with Lenny Kravitz, but with the likes of Tina Turner, Michael Jackson, Cliff Richard, Olivia Newton-John, Diana Ross. But he's also, very importantly for the Strange Brew, a part of the Twilights, one of my favourite Aussie bands of the 1960s, and we'll be also delving into that. A huge welcome to the Strange Brew, Terry.
Thanks, Jason. That's a bit scary. Twilights, you're going back some now, mate. You know, you've got to live with all your early stuff, unfortunately.
For my mind, I love it, and I think that the listeners will. But before we delve back into the 60s, I want to bring us relatively up to date because we're playing quite a few of your versions of some of the tracks made famous by the artists on this, as well as original material, because much of that is featured on your Afterglow album. So tell us about Afterglow.
Well, it was like we all did. Lockdown came along. I thought, what the hell am I going to do? So I just started putting down tracks. I had this idea of doing my own versions. And I turned around, I thought, oh, how many have I got? It was 18. So I thought, I'll just carry on. And ended up with a double album. But it was a lot of fun, and it kept me really busy through the lockdown period. So that's when I did it, yeah.
And how was that process? Because you've got the artists recording it. What was it like recording your own version?
Obviously, you can't, there's only one Tina, there's only one Cliff, you know what I mean? But I think the fact that you wrote it gives you license to sort of do your own thing and just have a bit of fun with it, really. There's no pressure. I wasn't trying to have a hit or do anything. It was just doing it for fun, really.
And a great way to shine a light on your songwriting, really, because people will know the songs, but they won't necessarily know the songwriter.
Yeah, it's true. It's well, it's even in America. Where you mentioned Devil Woman, still gets played a lot, but they don't know who Cliff Richard is, which is weird. They know the song, but they don't know the artist. Same with songwriters. Quite often, they don't know. A lot of people think artists write their own stuff. You see, I think a lot of the time.
And you've got a really interesting backstory. You're originally from Manchester, but went to Australia when, I don't know, when you were 12?
I was a 10-pound pom. I went when I was about 12 years old. And the old man was chest problems, and he just thought it'd be a better lifestyle for everybody. So we all went off to Australia.
You were exposed to, was it early Cliff, Skiffle here before you went across?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the Shadows, as soon as I saw the Shadows, I was gone. That was it. It was like just magic. See the guys doing Apache was just, wow, it just set your world alight, you know. And that was it for me then, seeing Hank. And Lonnie Donegan, I was a big Lonnie Donegan fan. Just tremendous energy, that guy. Terrific energy.
So what was it like going over to Australia, and which part did your family emigrate to?
We went to Adelaide. I don't know why. Probably because we maybe had some relations there that had gone before. It was difficult. We lived in a hostel for about I think it was nearly a year. But, you know, we soon got used to it. It was these Nissan, just like on the telly, that program, 10-Pound Pom, it was just these Nissan huts, no aircon, 110 degrees. But, you know, I very quickly got into the band at the hostel with these older guys, and I was just very young. And and they just threw all this rock and roll at me. So I had to learn it really quick, which was great to get that grounding in, 20 Flat Rock and all those great songs.
And for me, it's fascinating digging into many Australian and New Zealand bands of the 1960s because strong roots to Europe and England. So it was quite an interesting parallel universe.
Well, it was because you had the whole English scene, but you also had this American thing going because we used to get programs like Shindig, you know, all these great American TV shows. So you were listened to all the American artists as well. So it was an interesting combination, you know. So stuff that wouldn't have taken off here, possibly in the UK, was big in Australia, like things like even Beach Boys, you know, and surf music, because of the surf thing out there. So you're exposed to lots of different stuff.
So when did you join the Twilights? Because you weren't an original member, were you?
No, originally Twilights were a three-piece vocal band with a backing band called the Hurricanes, and they amalgamated. And the then guitar player, Kevin Peake, a great guitar player, decided to leave, and I was asked to join, and that was it. He took me along to a rehearsal one day and said, "This is a new guitar player." And they all went, "Oh, really?" Yeah, he said, "Because I'm leaving." So I sort of got the job, really. I think more or less because I had the right Beatlesque hair and the jacket with the velvet collar on the back. So I sort of fit in quite well.
And every time I talk to an artist that was in an Aussie band from the 1960s, they always talk about these Hoadley's National Battle of the Bands or Battle of the Sounds, and the Twilights were in that, weren't they?
Yeah, we won the battle, Hoadley's Battle of the Bands. There were probably about 20 bands in it. And we won a trip to London to record at Abbey Road. And we had a 4 or 5 week cruise on this tiny Italian ship. It was boring as hell. But so we spent about 3 months in London playing at various clubs and around. I think we even did the Cavern, I think. Yeah, we did for a couple of nights. And then we recorded at Abbey Road. We did the 3 songs, I think, in an afternoon with Norman Smith, who did the early Beatle records. A wonderful guy.
And one of those was 950?
950, which I wrote the night before, actually. And it was actually, I went in and played it, because we didn't have demos. I just played it on a guitar. And Norman Smith said, "Well, yeah, it's a great riff." He said, "But where's the hook?" And apparently I just sort of blurted out B minor chord and went, 950, da, 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 da. He went, "Yeah, that's the hook." So it was really down to him. I learned a big lesson that day. Where's the hook? Show me the hook. But he was a really helpful guy.
To myself, the sooner the better for patience itself. 9:50 is the time, she said. 9:50, let it go to your head. Don't be later, was the second reply. If you are, you better lay down and die. 9:50, 9:50, 9:50. I called the 9:30, won't get there in time. Forgot to change and ride the central line. I said go faster as I touch through the rail. It's now 9:40 and the time seems to sail. 9:50 is the time, she said. 9:50, let it go to your head. Hurry, 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 no time to spare. Hurry, hurry, no time to worry, 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 will she be there? I'm standing here looking, but she ain't come near. Well, is she later? Is she gonna show? I guess I'll never really get to know. 9:50 as the time has passed. 9:50, all I know at last. Here she comes a-walking down the street, and now my head begins to feel the heat. 9:50, 9:50, 9:50, 9:50.
And how long were you in London and England for?
I think in total about 3 months, I think, till we ran out of money, got sick of eating beans and mashed potatoes, and thought we'd better go back and make some money. It wasn't easy.
It seemed to be a bit of a common story for groups to come over to England from Australia and New Zealand, and it was often quite difficult despite the quality of the material.
Yeah, I think because when you think of the record scene in Australia at the time, you could have had number one with 50,000 records, which is nothing. So you're sort of forced to go to America or the UK to grow, and get the experience. Because it's quite an insular scene in Australia. So if you've got to expose yourself to the wider world, which is what we did. I think it did us a world of good as a band as well.
The sound of a number of your records seem to reflect the London scene, or the shift in sound, a little bit of Indian and Eastern influences, or the songs were a bit more sophisticated, like Time and Motion Study Man, for example. And again, that was one of yours, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's an early one, I think, Time and Motion Study Man. It was, a nice little tune, I thought. And I think I did sitar on that one as well, which was, obviously George Harrison, everyone, and Stones even using sitar, so it was very popular at the time.
And was that song recorded back in Australia?
Oh yeah, it was recorded, I think, on a 4-track machine. Yeah.
So were things a little bit more basic when you went away from Abbey Road?
I thought the sound at Abbey Road was just terrific. I don't think the sound we got in Australia was in the same league, personally. But that's another thing about the isolation, in a way, of Australia, just not being exposed to the same degree.
What was it like in Sydney or other Australian major cities?
Well, I think the rock and roll town was Melbourne, to
Right.
be honest. And I think that most of the bands came through Melbourne, but a lot of them went from Adelaide because there were a lot of Poms
Right.
emigrated to Adelaide. So AC/DC, half those guys, Bon Scott, and a lot of those guys came from Adelaide over to Melbourne. So we based ourselves in Melbourne.
And one of the other great Twilight singles from that era is Kathy Come Home. And
Oh, yeah.
that was a song of yours that was based on the now legendary British drama.
I saw it on the telly, and that's where I got the idea. Great show. I remember it now. It's really good.
So for songs, you were starting to sort of delve into other aspects or looking for different topics to explore.
Yeah, I think when you're starting out, you just want to grow, and try new things. So, and then all the psychedelia came in. I think some of that rubbed off as well, some of the more obscure lyrics.
British listeners are probably not familiar with that track, but I think that was a hit in Australia, wasn't it?
What, Kathy Come Home?
Mm.
Oh, yeah, no, it did really well.
And so did you tour much?
All the time. We worked every day. The music scene in Australia at the time was phenomenal. And we toured, and whoever came out there, for instance, we supported the Stones in Australia, Tom Jones, Herman's Hermits, Searchers. So whoever came through touring, we tended to get the support act on it. So you got to see these great bands every night too.
Did you have much contact with British bands, whether it was when you were over in London or touring with them in Australia?
No, they wouldn't talk to us really. We're just
Really?
we're just minions. The Stones just ignored us. They didn't want to know at all. I did have one bit of good fortune, and the guitar player I'll never forget with Tom Jones gave me his Gary Hurst tone bender, which was the very first fuzz box, and said, "Here, boyo, you can have this." He said, I like your guitar playing. He said, "But it's nothing. I'm never going to use it with Tom." So he gave me his first fuzz box. So I had the first fuzz box in Australia as well.
Kathy, come home, 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 home. Kathy, come home, can't you see that I need it? Kathy, come home, you must see it to believe it. Kathy, come home. I found someone to comfort me, someone who finally let me be myself. My mind, I think, is much too small to see the writing on the wall, it seems. Kathy, come home, can't you see that I need it? Kathy, come home, you must see it to believe it. Kathy, come home. If seeing is believing, then I see the truth. With you on my mind, I just can't seem to lose. My mind's made up, that's all I see. The writing's plain as plain can be to me. Kathy's back now, she's all mine now. Everything's just turned out fine for me. Kathy, come home, can't you see that I need it? Kathy, come home, you must see it to believe it. Kathy, come home. Kathy, come home. Kathy, come home. Kathy, come home. Kathy, come home.
Tell us about Once Upon a Twilight, that's known a bit more of that psychedelic space. Were you influenced by the likes of Ogden's Nut Gone Flake, Small Faces, or Sergeant Pepper?
Yeah, absolutely. Small Faces, Traffic. I mean, that's all we listened to, and Disraeli Gears, The Cream, and all these great records. So obviously, you're just learning. So you're going to listen to those guys and try and take stuff from it. Well, I tell you one story is that when Sergeant Pepper's came out, we had it flown out from England, and we learnt the whole of Sergeant Pepper's in a few days, and we were performing it on stage, and EMI told us to stop because it hadn't been released, because this was a month before it was released. But we carried on playing it anyway. It was so much fun.
There was talk of some sort of TV series in that period. Is that correct?
Yeah, someone had the great idea of doing an Australian Monkeys. So they got us to do this half-hour pilot, which was dreadful because we couldn't act to save our lives. But again, it was experience, all in lovely, glorious black and white. There's still copies of it flying around somewhere. But yeah, the acting is absolutely terrible. And the script was even worse than the acting. So there you go.
So what was it that halted the Twilights? Was it just that the fans had moved on, or...?
No, it was basically, it came down, we lost our drummer. We were all set to go back to the UK with a British manager, and the drummer decided to leave. And we tried to replace him, but, it was just a feeling you got that this was the end of the line. So I think we all more or less just saw it and thought, it's time to move on.
Once upon a twilight comes, a time when all the people see just what it's like to be a part of the company. It's time for me and all to see a coat of arms that stands to me. No insecurity is part of a twilight dream. How can you know what it's like to be like? I know what it's like. We've seen the 6 of them, living in dreams of a musical hum. Living in dreams. Once upon a twilight come.
Once upon a twilight comes,
Time when all the people see
Just what it's like to be a part of the company.
Once upon a twilight comes. Once upon a twilight. Once upon a twilight comes. A time when all the people see just what it's like to be a part of the company.
You released a solo single, was that correct?
Yeah, I did. I was asked to write a song for a movie called 2000 Weeks, which I did. I wrote the thing and recorded it myself. It was never used in the film, but just as well because the film was dreadful. So it sort of worked out. Anyway, I did that and a B-side called Bargain Day, which was a rockier thing, and all done very quickly. Not that I wanted to be a solo artist. It was just one of those things that popped up when someone said, write a song for this movie, so that was it.
We're next featuring Quartet and the song Now, but the names in that group that you were in sound quite familiar. Alan Tarney and Kevin Peake.
Trevor Spencer, yeah.
Yeah. Was that a band formed with you at the start, or...?
No, I came to London on my own in late 69, and I was writing away in my basement, getting nowhere, and I bumped into Alan and Kevin, and they said they had a deal with Decca, a little deal with Decca, and they said, "We want you to join the band, one another guitar player and another voice." So they cut me in on the deal, saved my life because I had no money to pay the rent. So it all worked out very well, and we did an album with Decca, which was, I don't think, ever released the album. It was an interesting lineup because we had, I was playing acoustic and electric. Kevin was playing nylon strung. I thought just a different sound, really, very acousticy.
We'll be playing now shortly. It seems to have that lineage of Crosby, Stills, but more of a reflective feel to it.
To be honest, Jason, I can't remember much about the song. To me, I haven't heard it in 40 years or something, so can't remember much about it. So I'll have to listen to your podcast to hear it.
Now I'm alone, not a place to call home. I look, but in vain, for the sound of the name I love so much. The hour of slow music gives me the time to sit meditating on your love and mine. The autumn of my life comes slowly into view, 'cause the only love I ever had was you. Yours is the future and ours is the past. The love song is over, they're not made to last. The autumn of my life comes slowly into view, 'cause the only love I ever had was you. Now I'm alone, not a place to call home. I look, but in vain, for the sound of the name I love so much. The hour of slow music gives me the time to sit meditating on your love and mine. The autumn of my life comes slowly into view, 'cause the only love I ever had was you. The autumn of my life comes slowly into view, 'cause the only love I ever had was you. The autumn of my life comes slowly into view, 'cause the only love I ever had was you.
What happened after that? So quartet didn't seem to last, but you started playing on session work. Is that correct?
Well, we got to Top of the Pops with our first single, Joseph, and then after that we had management problems, as is typical, and we just drifted into session work, and doing sessions of playing on New Seekers records and stuff, and then then we got booked as a rhythm section a lot of the time early on, and then we ended up playing for Cliff as his backing group and touring with him. So it was all a great experience.
You were even on My Kookajou, which was Alvin Stardust.
Yeah, I played all those guitar parts, about 5 guitars on each record, I think. Lots of tracking, guitar tracking and stuff. So yeah, I was very, very busy doing sessions through the 70s, early 80s. Yeah, that was a great learning experience again, because you're playing stuff. I never heard country music. Next thing you're having to do a bit of country and a bit of everything, really.
It does seem to show in your songwriting, because I mean, I've picked something very obscure, but for me, it's just a beautiful song, and it's a song of yours recorded by Cliff Richard.
Oh, yeah.
Celestial Houses, with the guitar work on there is sublime.
Really? Wow. Hey, Jason, easy on, easy on. The only thing I remember about that session was it was live at the Morgan Studios in Willesden,
Yeah.
and it was recorded live with an audience. There was a small audience in the studio, and that's the only thing I remember about it. I can't even remember writing the song, other than Cliff occasionally did these gospel albums and would say, "Have you got any songs?" So I used to write specifically for those gospel albums.
You can hear the lyrical theme. Celestial
Yeah.
has got that element to it.
Yeah, and I did a few others. You Got Me Wondering, I think another Yes He Lives, that was a big one without mentioning names. So yeah, I came up with a few things like that. And funny, his fans used to say, how can you write this stuff if you're not a Christian? I thought it was quite weird. I said, well, it's not difficult, really, is it?
Cross the lonely plains and make a new start, away from city noise and big supermarkets, where the days and the nights are long, and we can build celestial houses. Foundations made of love, the bricks are of hope. The roof is made of stars, so we can devote ourselves to helping the troubled world begin to build celestial houses. Give all your love to the Lord. Stand up, be counted, don't hesitate. Give all your love to the Lord. We can all be His sentinel. And in our garden we'll grow flowers with love, a silver stream where flows the grace from above. And understanding's the only bridge I have to cross to get to your house. Give all your love to the Lord. Stand up, be counted, don't hesitate. Give all your love to the Lord. We can all be His sentinel. Give all your love to the Lord. Stand up, be counted, don't hesitate. Give all your love to the Lord. We can all be His sentinel. His sentinel. His sentinel.
It's quite an interesting period for you. You're getting a great grounding in terms of playing sessions and obviously with Cliff and the very high standards there. You're also getting that writing to order or knowing to write a song with a particular feel.
Yeah, I think so. And a particular artist, I think that's when you start thinking, how do you get into writing for that character, which worked really well for me later on with Tina and other artists like that. Because it is a whole different thing writing for yourself or a band and writing for, another artist totally, you've got really nothing to do with. So it's very different. You've got to get in their shoes a little bit.
But by the mid-70s, your role and involvement with Cliff seems to step up. You're more kind of front and centre in a way. And one of the key parts of that for me is Devil Woman. So how did things shift where you seem to have an even much greater role with Cliff?
Well, that song, I didn't imagine Cliff would do a song like that. It was my missus actually said, you should send that song to Cliff. And I said, he wouldn't do that. He said, I think you should send it to Bruce Welsh. And he said, what a great hook. He loved it. So next thing I know, we were in Abbey Road doing Devil Woman. I've got to say, I hear it now on the radio. It's still a great sounding record.
That took Cliff around the world, didn't it, that song?
Well, it's funny because I was working with him at the time and we were up in Manchester, the Golden Garter, Manchester, Fiesta Club, Sheffield, all these clubs where it's scampi and chips and sound of knives and forks is louder than the band. And it was actually pretty depressing in a way. It was like an end of a career feeling. It's very odd, although he's a great artist. But suddenly it just shows you the power of a song. Next thing, we're not doing the Golden Garter. We're touring Australia and Europe and Russia, all over the place. So it's amazing what a hit song can do.
Devil Woman was co-written with, was it Christine Orphers?
Yeah, I don't know how that came about, to be honest. I think we just got together. I had the music for quite a while, and I used to play the riff with the band, just warming up. And I don't know how I met Christine. It's the only song we wrote, actually. She came up with a great story, and we just put it together. And then I did a demo, 4-track demo at Chapel Studios. And the demo, I remember, unfortunately, I haven't got a copy of it, but it was really good. That's all really great players. And I had there all the drummer and keyboard and bass player. They were all the people that played on the track. So
What, like Clem Catini?
yeah, he was one of my favourite drummer, Clem.
Yeah.
Brilliant drummer. Still the most recorded drummer in the UK, I believe.
He's been on the pod. The number of songs that Clem's been on is astonishing.
Oh, it is, yeah. But his drumming on that is phenomenal. Really good.
Well, another interesting thing is just when songs take on another life, they're in a film or whatever, and Devil Woman is a great example of that. That's been in a range of things, including the I, Tonya film.
Yeah, that was a surprise because I didn't even know it was in there. Yeah, I got the movie and I thought, oh my God, they played more or less the whole song at the start. It was a nice bonus all those years later. You know.
Tell us about Cliff's Rock and Roll Juvenile album, because it's almost like one of your albums, really.
Well, I produced it, and yeah, I think I wrote about 10 of the songs on it, I think.
Yeah.
And it was great because it was all live. We had great players, Herbie Flowers on bass, Graham Jarvis, and some great players on it. And it was all live, pre-click tracks and everything. I think we recorded all the basic stuff in Paris, actually, EMI in Paris, we had a great time just there for a week doing all the tracks.
Carrie is equally as strong. And these are the Cliff Richard records. They've got a bit more of a bite about them.
Yeah.
That really lifts things.
Yeah, I think it was Keith Richards says a riff lasts forever, doesn't it? I think rather than some flash solo, it's just riffs stay with you. I always see Carrie as like Devil Woman Part 2, really. And no, it's still a great record, and I think Cliff's vocal is terrific on that as well. I must say Cliff's vocal technique is second to none. He's unbelievable.
Sorry to disturb you, but I was in the neighborhood about a friend of a picture. Could you take a look? Oh, I appreciate you're busy and time's not your own. Yeah, maybe it would be better if I telephone. Carrie doesn't live here anymore. Carrie used to room on the second floor. Sorry that she left no forwarding address that was known to me. Carrie doesn't live here anymore. You could always ask at the corner store. Carrie had a date with her own kind of fate. It's plain to see. Another missing person, one of many we assume. The young wear their freedom like cheap perfume. Returning my call to help the situation. There's nothing at all. You're just another message on a payphone wall. Carrie doesn't live here what you hadn't planned. I drank the potion she offered me. I found myself on the floor. And then I looked in them big green eyes, and I knew what I come here for. She's just a devil woman with evil on her mind. Beware the devil woman, she's gonna get you. She's just a devil woman with evil on her mind. Beware the devil woman, she's gonna get you from behind. She's gonna get you. She's gonna get you. It's a mystery.
Carrie, I think, you co-wrote it with B.A. Robertson. How did you meet up and start collaborating together?
I think what happened was I was playing as a session player on some live gigs he was doing because he was promoting this album he had out called Shadow of a Thin Man, which was so different and quite terrific album, really. I was booked as a session player with Herbie Flowers and some great players, Tony Hymas, out of my league, really, these guys. Anyway, I did a few shows and then his deal went sort of sour, and I don't know how it came about, but I said, why don't we just go in and just a little cheap studio and try and do something like a single or something and see if you can get a singles deal, which he did, actually. And next thing I know, we're in doing Bang Bang, Knocked It Off, Cooling the Calf Down, To Be or Not to Be. So we had a string of hit singles. And I think we did 2 albums as well. So it was a very good, again, another great learning period because I was producing as well as co-writing with BA.
And Bang Bang, for example, is a very interesting song. You've got a spoken word element to it, which is quite different to many of the songs that were around.
Yeah, it was sort of pre-rap, I suppose, in a way, in a sense that came out purely by accident because I remember we went in and it had a melody, the strange jacket of true love's fine. But in fact, we were messing around and he was just doing, the straight jacket of true love. And we all thought it was great. So he carried on and we did it that way. And so it became a little bit of a style of his because he's not so much a singer as a performer, and a great lyricist, I've got to say.
There was quite a few hits that you co-wrote with him, and that is, again, probably more familiar for Australian listeners, but there was Christy Allen's He's My Number One, for example, so you must have been in quite a bit of a role.
Where do you get this stuff, Jason? That was a #1 album in Australia, and again, it was an early learning period of production, and we did it ever so quickly, and she came over from Australia, and we did the whole album, and she had 2 or 3 hit singles off it, and a #1 album.
Yeah.
And these were all songs we'd done with BA and other people, but because of the Australian scene being different, we thought we could use the same songs. And it worked, actually. She did really well.
The straight jacket of true love's fine, bang bang. If you're Houdini in your spare time, bang bang.
Lord Nell and Lady Hamilton, they fought for love. When he come home from the war, he give a whoop for love. The mighty fall when love has called. Vampire friends desire to lust. Bang, bang. They fall on necks, then fall in love. Pang, pang. The Marquis de Sade was happy with a stroke of love. Sherlock Holmes alone preferred a little toke of love. Bang, bang, the mighty fall. Bang, bang, when love is called. Bang, bang, the mighty fall. Tony and Cleo struck out for the Frio down Egypt's way. But Caesar had squeezed her in Rome on his quilt for a day. Hey, hey. Now Antony got really angry. But old Caesar's hanky-panky, she told him she would use him, and boy did she abuse him. Fall in love and blew him away. Bang, bang, the mighty fall. Bang, bang, when love is called. Bang, bang, the mighty fall. Bang, bang. Na 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 na. And Sam and Delilah, they both we should file under fool. Cause when the temples start to crumble, Sammy for his comb did fumble. Life was in a ruin, she loved Johnny Fruin. Fall in love and blew him away. Bang, bang, when love has called. Bang, bang, the mighty fall. Bang, bang, when love has called. Bang, bang.
Tell us about your collaboration with Graham Lyle then.
Well, that came about was a suggestion from a friend of ours, Billy Livesey, great keyboard player. And he said, yeah, you guys should get together. You know, it could be interesting because different backgrounds, really. And anyway, a couple of months passed and Graham rang me up and said, Terry, you want to have a get together, you know?
Yeah.
He's from Glasgow. And I said, yeah, okay. So he came round, brought his acoustic, and we sat there and strummed for a few hours, acoustics. And I think I was looking at my watch and he was looking at his, saying, how much longer this going to carry on? And I remember saying to him, because I just started working with a drum machine, so you could put a feel up. And I was that time using a nice electric sound I had. And I said to Graham, have you ever worked with a drum machine and electric? And he went, oh, no. So I literally just put the drum machine on and boom, 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 little feel. I remember playing a chord, with no just frills. It was just start singing a tune. Da, da, da. And Graham said, oh, I've got this title. And he said, what's love got to do? I went, oh, great title. And then an hour passed. I can't remember what else happened, but we more or less had the song. So that was the first song we ever wrote.
Was it Bucks Fizz did the demo of it first?
No, we did the demo and then Bucks Fizz heard it. And a bit of a long-winded story, but when I heard that Tina wanted to do the song and they wanted me to produce it, I thought, well, Bucks Fizz already had a hold on the song.
Right.
The publisher had given the hold on the song. So I knew that Tina wouldn't do it if it was not a brand new song. So I went and had a chat to the manager, told her the situation. She said, oh, we'll hold back, no problem. She said, you go ahead and do it. So that was Nicola. She was very good. And I think they did it afterwards, maybe put it out later. But I did hear their version. I couldn't actually recognize it, the same song. So
there's no comparison because your work with Tina, just
Yeah.
it's almost like magic happening, really, that combination, isn't it?
Definitely. I mean, I think sometimes you get the right song with the right artist, even though everyone's heard the story. She didn't like the song. But as it turned out, it was the perfect song with the perfect artist. And sometimes you get a record and it can never be bettered. And I think I'd say that's one of them. Many people have done it, but there's only one version for me, and that's Tina's.
You had a go at it for Afterglow.
Yeah, well, I think you're allowed to, aren't you? And I knew we'd have to make a little different. But a lot of people like to hear the writer's version, and so
Yeah.
why not? It was fun.
But that wasn't the only song that you collaborated on with Tina Turner, though. There's quite a lot of material, and that combination of you and Tina, it went onwards and onwards.
It did. I mean, we did the film, the Mad Max theme, We Don't Need Another Hero, and Typical Male. Yeah, I think all in all, there's probably about 20 tracks, something like that. Did quite a lot of work, but we just had a great connection after we did that first session, and it all seemed to work. She more or less just handed me the reins and just said, get on with it. So it was a magic time, and it was tremendous for me to work with. I mean, I look back on it now, I think, how did that happen? This kid from Manchester, how did you end up working with this amazing legend? But such is life, eh?
And some of your songs have got another life in the Tina Turner musical as well.
Yeah, that's right. And there's even a guy playing me. He's much better looking than me, and a lot taller. But that is something else, I must say. You got to see that. I didn't take it too seriously. It's, I saw on the stage and the guy's playing keyboards, which I don't play. I play guitar. And a few other things there were entertainment value, I think, really. But it's great. The musical's doing so well all around the world. It's amazing. It's a great show. Really good.
You must understand, though the touch of your hand makes my pulse react, that it's only the thrill of boy meeting girl, opposites attract. Oh, it's physical, it's only logical. You must try to ignore that it means more than that. Whoa, what's love got to do with it? What's love but a second-hand emotion? What's love got to do with it? Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken? It may seem to you that I'm acting confused when you're close to me, and if I tend to look dazed, I read it someplace. I've got cause to be. There's a name for it. There's a phrase that fits. But whatever the reason, you do it for me. Whoa, what's love got to do with it? What's love but a second-hand emotion? What's love got to do with it? Who needs
was it yours and Graham's success with Tina that led to one of your songs being featured on Michael Jackson's Bad album?
Yeah, I mean, that was a fluke as well, because Graham and I were in America, and we had a chat to Rod Temperton. He said, "Oh, come up to the house." So we were great. And this legend, Rod Temperton, for those that don't know him, Thriller,
Yeah.
Off the Wall, an amazing songwriter. And we went up to his house, and he played us all these demos, and they were fantastic. And he said, "Well, you guys should try and write something, because there's no guarantee any of these songs will go on Michael's new album." And we said, "Really?" He said, No. So we have there's Quincy, the engineer, Michael, and myself, and we tend to pick the songs for the album. So he said, "Go and give it a go." So we did. Next day we came up with Just Good Friends, and we thought, well, we flew back home and did the demo of this Just Good Friends, sent it back to Rod Temperton, and I got a phone call. And Rod's from Hull, he's another Northerner. He said, "This is really spooky." I said, "What?" He said, "Well, who's singing the demo?" I said, "Oh, that's me doing a poor imitation of Michael." He said, "Yeah, but some of the lines sound like Stevie Wonder." I said, "Well, I'm a huge Stevie fan." He said, "Now, the funny thing is, we just sat down, decided he was going to do a duet with Stevie Wonder."
Wow.
We played this song, we went, "This is perfect." And he said, "Do you have to change any lyrics?" I said, "No, all works. As a duet, it works." So he said, "Well, Michael's determined to write the duet, so hang on in there and we'll see what happens." Anyway, a month or so passed, didn't hear anything. And the phone rings. He said, "Terry, it's Rod here. Michael's had a couple of cracks at this duet and we don't like them. So we're going to do yours." So really, it was all down to Rod Temperton, totally, that came about.
The mid to late 1980s must have just been an incredible period, because I think What's Love Got to Do with It? That's Grammy Award, Song of the Year. You've got sort of the work with Tina, Michael Jackson. That's as big as you can get in music history.
Yeah, I don't think of it that way, but I know what you mean. And you think of some of the artists, Anita Baker,
Yeah.
Diana Ross, but it is. It's only when you look back on it, I'm quite amazed, really, by it all. It's really something. And yeah, there's always that feeling you're not worthy sort of feeling with it, I think, really, and you got lucky somehow.
It's a bit more than that.
Well, that's the way it feels a lot of the time.
When did you start collaborating with Lenny Kravitz then?
Well, I was working with this guy, Jerry DeVoe, who was a mate of Lenny's, and we were writing stuff. And Heaven Help just sort of fell out. It was one of the session. He was about to leave, and I just started singing this, "Heaven Help the Fool." He went, "Oh, what's that? What's that?" I went, "I don't know." Just started it. Anyway, we sat down and finished that song very quickly as well. And it's actually still one of my favorite covers I've ever had, is because not only Lenny's performance, but the sound of that record as well. It's very analog, 16 track. Just warm, big, fat, warm record. And I loved it. And it sounds like an authentic. A lot of people think it's an old R&B song.
Yeah.
Which I find very flattering.
So we've had Heaven Help opening the show. We've now got Circus, which is one of my favourites. Tell us about that one, because that's an interesting song.
Yeah, I'd be honest. I think I prefer my version to Lenny's. But, I don't know. Suddenly there's that connection, and actually it came through Jerry, because Jerry said, "Lenny's done a new album, Circus." This has happened twice now. And he wants a title song, and he hasn't come up with it. So then we get the job of coming up with a title song, Circus.
One day while I was searching for what I never find, she walked into my story, said she could change my mind. This is the final offer. She said to make it clear, don't lose out on this wonder.
did the same, the Baptized.
Oh, that's a great song, that.
And I prefer my version of Baptized to Lenny's because I think it was underproduced.
Yeah.
And there's a really good story behind Baptized.
Please tell us.
Well, I was in Adelaide visiting my mother, and I'd just been out shopping for her. I had 2 hours of shopping. I'm walking down the street in the heat. And then in front of me is this little old lady, and she's getting on a bus. Anyway, she stops halfway up and sees me and gets off the bus. And as I'm walking past, she gives me a brochure, and it says the true meaning of baptism. I said, "Oh, thank you, love." I put it in my shopping bag, walked home, got all the shopping out, threw the brochure in the bin, didn't read it, nothing. And literally an hour later, I had a call from Jerry DeVoe, the guy I'd written songs for Lenny with. And he said, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm in Adelaide." He said, "I don't believe it." He said, "I'm in Sydney."
Really?
I said, "Oh, that's amazing." He said, "Look, something's come up." I said, "What's that?" He said, "I've heard from Lenny, and he's just done a new album, and he needs a leading song for the title track for the album." And I said, "What is it?" And he said, "Called Baptized." So I went to the bin, got out the brochure, thought, "Oh my God," saw these lines and the whole background. And I said, "Well, I can come up to Sydney tomorrow and I'll work on the music today." Got some lyric ideas. And I could come up to Sydney tomorrow. He said, "Okay." So I went up early. He came round the hotel. We knocked out this little song, Baptized. And he said, "Well, we better do a demo." So he made a few calls, and we got a drummer, bass player, and a keyboard player. Went to this little studio in Chinatown and whipped this song together. I played guitar on it. And then he said, "Well, you go and do the lead vocals." So I did the vocals on it. And he said, "We need some backing vocals. I've got this great little girl. I'll give her a ring, see if she can come down. And you and her can do the background vocals." I went, "Okay, cool." So I'm standing next to the microphone, this lovely little girl, and we're chatting away. And I said, "Are you Maori?" And she said, "Yeah, part Maori." I said, "That's funny because I used to tour with Cliff with this lovely Maori lady." She said, "Yes, that's my mum."
No.
Yeah, and I was so taken aback. I said, "Can you get her on the phone?" So she did, rang her mother, and I said, "Hello, love." I said, "This is Terry Britten, remember me?" I said, "You won't believe it. I'm stood on a microphone singing with your daughter, doing background vocals." Anyway, Joy Yates, she was a wonderful singer, and she was married to a wonderful keyboard player, and they're still together. Anyway, we did the backing vocals. We had this lovely little demo, and Jerry said, "Well, this is days before emails and sending, flying things around the world. We couldn't do it." So he said, "Well, Lenny wants to do it like tomorrow." So we actually played it down the telephone, and Lenny recorded it in America and then went straight in the studio and recorded it. So within 24 hours, that whole song came together. It was quite extraordinary. But to meet this young lady, Joy Yates' daughter, the synchronicity was crazy, especially with the little old lady.
I don't want to look around, be turned into stone. All my darkest days awoken. I'm looking for a new way, can't make it on my own. Lead me to a place wide open. I need a love to take me higher. So high I'm never coming down. Don't wanna know emptiness, take me down to the water. I wanna be baptized in your love, far away from the loneliness. Take my heart and wash away the fear. Let me be baptized in your love. Now everybody's going down and end up all alone, and all too many words unspoken. I know I gotta be there, ready to be shown. righteousness unbroken. I need a love to take me higher, so high I'm never coming down. Don't wanna know emptiness, take me down to the water. I wanna be baptized in your love, far away from the loneliness. Take my heart and wash away the fear. Baptized in your love, in your love. You're never alone, you're never apart, never too far from your heart. Your heart. Don't wanna know emptiness, take me down to the water. To the water, baptized in your love. Far away from the loneliness, take my heart and wash away the fear. Baptized in your love. Let me be baptized in your love. Your love. I wanna be baptized in your
Also off Afterglow, and that's It's a Beautiful Thing. And that's a song with you wrote with James Hallowell, who's known as being in the Waterboys. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. He still plays with them now, and he's my next door neighbor. He has a little studio next to me, and now and again we just have a little jam session, and that came out of that. And I suddenly came up with the idea of using the vocoder. It's a beautiful thing, and it's one of my favorites. It's I just love it. It's great, and that's just us playing live together, and it's a really lovely track. I really like it.
You're kind of alluding it to already. You're still writing songs and active in that space.
Oh yeah, I'm still here in my little studio. I've just done a new album. I think it's turned out pretty well. There's 18 tracks on it, and all different sort of types of song and ballads, funky stuff, everything. So I'm quite pleased with it.
So, Terry, you've got a new album, and we're going to close with one of those songs. Can you tell us about the album and the song that we're going to close with?
Well, the album's called The Other Side of the Tracks, and this particular song, because I've never done anything quite like it, and it's a Tina song called What You Get Is What You See, and I've done like a country version of it, and I've got this little lady from Manchester doing the vocals who's got terrific voice.
So, Afterglow, I think, came out on Bandcamp, as well as there's information on your website, terrybritten.com.
That's right.
Will that also, your new album, go out on Bandcamp?
Yeah, it'll all be the same platforms, yeah.
So it's almost a companion piece to Afterglow. Is it a similar sound?
Sound-wise it is, but because I've got these three guest vocalists on it, it's a new twist. But I think it works. I think it all hangs together. And I think it's a very warm-sounding record as well. It's the old analog ears, you know, you're doing your best, even without tape, to try and keep it warm.
Well, it's great to know about your new album, and it's great to close with What You See Is What You Get.
Other way around. What you get is what you see, and there's nothing more to it. And if you want to love a woman like me, it takes a man to do it. It's a very funny lyric by Graham Lyle.
Brilliant. Terry, thank you so much for being on the podcast. It's been an honour and pleasure to talk to one of the great songwriters. And I'm hugely fond of your work with the Twilights as well, so it's great to cover everything.
Yeah, that was a good time. I mean, you know, I think everyone in their first band always has very fond memories of those years, you know, touring and stuff. And we're still over, the ones that are still with us on the planet are still very close. Okay, mate. Oh, thanks so much, Jason.
It's fantastic.
All the best. Bye.
Some boys, they got the look of a Greek Adonis. And some boys just try to talk you off of your feet. Some boys, they think they're God's gift to woman. And some boys, they think they're sweet enough to eat. Try to change the habit of a lifetime. Don't even try. 'Cause when you cut down deeper than the icing, you realize From the past to the future we explore. With each episode a journey unfolds in the strange blue stories untold. Ooh yeah. So thank you for listening, for being here with us. Your support means the world. That's a plus, and if you'd like to help us keep the show